What's up, everybody? Matt Gajewski here, back again with the Awesemo channel, discussing some college football DFS. We have a showdown matchup tonight between Marshall and Appalachian State. It is going to be an absolute heater of a game, but before we get started, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all other content goes live. We will be discussing some of the tools we have behind the glass today, showing you some of the opportunity for both of these teams as we get into the DFS plays. So without further ado, let's dive over there. We will start with the Marshall side. This is going to be an exciting game overall. We have a game with a total set at 60. App State is a 7-point favorite. We saw App State recently play the Miami Hurricanes to a 2-point score, and both of these teams sit at 2-1 through their first 3 games. On the Marshall side, a team that has played a little more up-tempo this year, they're still about average in pace. They're passing way above expectation, 53% pass rate. And that's been fantastic for a guy in Grant Wells, who enters this game with a pretty hefty price tag. But one you want to consider, he's not the most mobile quarterback, but at least the rushing yards are positive at 17 and averaging 364 passing yards per game. It should be noted the level of competition has not been fantastic for Marshall. They picked up pretty convincing wins over Navy and North Carolina Central, and then they barely dropped a game to East Carolina that was more of a shootout than anything else. But Grant Wells has been fantastic, completing 67% of his passes. He's certainly somebody you want to consider in stacks. In the run game, Rasheen Ali has separated himself a little bit from the pack, and they formerly were using Sheldon Evans a lot, but Ali carried the ball 24 times to Evans' 9 in their most recent game against East Carolina. Ali also has 11 targets in the pass game, making him solid 3-down back. He's available on any kind of game script for this team, which makes him pretty good. And overall, Evans is probably still going to remain the change of pace back. He's just been very inefficient this year, 77 yards on 26 carries. In this sort of game script where if you're projecting Marshall to get out and play from a lead, maybe you can use both Ali and Evans, but I'm probably just focusing everything on Ali. He's outgained Evans 291 yards to 77 this year. Looking at the receiver core for Marshall, if you're playing a lot of Grant Wells, stacking him is a good idea. They initially listed a massive timeshare at receiver to start the year, but that has since narrowed. You have Corey Gamage absolutely leading the way here. He has 33 targets on the year. That is a 26% target share, 351 yards. That is over 100 receiving yards per game. This dude is averaging 11 targets per game to start the year, just monster numbers. He's somebody you certainly want to look at. And then from there, Talik Keaton and Willie Johnson have been the next 2 most active receivers. Keaton, 18 targets, 194 yards. Willie Johnson, not quite as many, 13 targets, 75 yards. But fortunately, we saw Willie Johnson's role increase in their last game. He jumps up to 8 targets there. And this is solidified quite a bit now. If we just look to the last game, we had Corey Gamage, 93% of the routes, and Willie Johnson and Talik Keaton both over 68% of the routes themselves. So pretty locked in options here. The last player to consider, and somebody you probably want to look to as your punt play for Marshall, is tight end Xavier Gaines, a really athletic player and somebody they've actually used on rush attempts last year. He hasn't been as involved this year, but still running a route on over 66% of the dropbacks. He does have 13 targets, which ties Willie Johnson for the 3rd most. He is 3rd on the team in receiving yards at 125 and a buy low in the offense, looking at everything we've seen from Marshall over the past seasons. Outside of him, everybody else is just going to be more of your pure dart throws, your EJ Hortons. These players aren't playing as much and probably best left to the large field tournaments. Heading to the App State side, you have former Clemson, former Duke quarterback Chase Bryce. He's coming in a little bit cheaper. And he's somebody that does have good mobility, some of that mitigated by the sacks he will take, but 19 rushing yards on the year. He's a good scrambler. They will use him occasionally on design yards. He is averaging 249 passing yards per game on 28.7 attempts. Some of that coming just because of better competition that App State has played this year. Again, they picked up wins over East Carolina. They did play Elon, which is, I don't want to make too much of that. But then they also played a very close game against Miami. So Chase Bryce has been very active in these games. Overall, they're going to be a run-heavy team. They typically aren't even reaching a 40% pass rate. They play a little bit slower. But this is a spot where we want to at least look at Bryce. The one concern here is a potential offensive line weakness. They lost 3 starting offensive linemen. Marshall is a very strong defensive front. They've already generated 36 pressures. So maybe you have Chase Bryce under pressure taking sacks. But again, it's going to be a step up in competition for Marshall. In the run game, it's a two-man timeshare. It's Nate Noel and it's Cameron Peoples, and they are splitting the work 50-50. And actually, we've seen Noel lead the group in carries and touches. Nate Noel, 48 carries, Cameron Peoples, 42. As far as overall touches, this is targets plus carries. Nate Noel, 52, Cameron Peoples, 43. So Nate Noel, very active. However, you have Cameron Peoples being a little more efficient on the ground. He has 274 yards to Noel's 249. What this comes down to is Noel is significantly cheaper than Peoples, despite them playing a near 50-50 role. Noel is going to be your preferred play, but you can absolutely play both. Peoples has a significant role in the offense. And we have App State, a team that's very run-heavy, favored by a touchdown in this game. Not to mention, Marshall's given up quite a bit of production on the ground to start the year. So very interested in both backs. Noel, the better price-adjusted play. In the receiver room, they've also narrowed snaps here. Corey Sutton misses last year, but he comes back as the alpha of this team. 26 targets, good for a 29% target share, 237 yards. That equates to 79 yards per game, 8.7 targets per game. He's your preferred receiver. Second is going to be Thomas Hennigan. On DraftKings, he is cheaper than Malik Williams. On FanDuel, the prices are flipped, but Hennigan has run the second most routes. He has 160 yards, which is narrowly behind Malik Williams, who's been a big play threat. But Hennigan's the more consistent option in the offense. He has 13 targets. He's also just running a lot more routes than Malik Williams. Malik Williams is the wide receiver 3, somebody you can certainly look to. And Jalen Virgil's seen his role fall. A player that was listed as a co-starter to begin the year, he is slowly seeing fewer and fewer routes game over. So I think looking to Virgil as a potential GPP play, but you're preferring the big 3 in Sutton, Malik Williams, Hennigan. And they haven't been using as many tight ends this year. Henry Pearson not as active. I think you really want to focus on the big 3, Sutton, Williams, and Hennigan, looking to Virgil in GPPs. And in your captain slot, probably one of the App State runners or quarterback as your preferred play. But loving this slate. It's a high-scoring environment, 2 very good teams, underrated teams, and many options at captain. Leaves you a very nice DFS slate overall. But that will do it for us today. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you. On the way out, let me know your favorite play in the comment section and hit the thumbs up button. Check out Awesemo, some of the tools we have that we just showed you. We have ownership, projections, slate write-ups, everything you need. I'm Matt Gajewski on Twitter at Matt_Gajewski. We will see you again next time.